You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming, and sending me on Twitter, The Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Minotaur Hotel. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. There we go, okay. The Minotaur opened his mouth and drew a breath. The images sprung forth and words chained themselves together. By the gods, I should tell him that it feels like I'm turning into stone. Alexios must know what it means and what I should do. Asterion? But there must be a catch to him. There always is one. Are you okay? Oh, wrong voice. But regardless, he is not unkind. If I am to serve him and to perform this duty well, perhaps he knows how I can be made better. I should tell him. A hand warms the Minotaur's forearm. You don't seem too well. The Minotaur looks up to the human. His eyes are unmoving, not afraid or sad, but looking through the master as if trying to focus on his face was too difficult to command. The Minotaur draws a breath and speaks before a kinder part of his mind can take control. I'm just struggling to wake up. Oh, it's true, we haven't eaten anything yet. How about I teach you some of the basics and then I go down to get last night's leftovers? I hid some of the appetizers in the lounge's fridge. Asterion grunts, not really listening, just asserting his vague and ever-present agreement with whatever the master has to say. Okay, so, just recapping, with a computer we can access the internet and find all sorts of fun stuff. Do you remember what the internet is? A question. Asterion's eyes shift. The internet. Yes. Pull the string. Pull the words from your mind and speak. It's a way to... it's a way to get knowledge very quickly. It would take months for a book or letter to be delivered, but with the internet it won't take long. Did I get it right? Yep. Let's start then. Now I want you to tap on that icon in the top left corner. Could you do that for me? Just tap it with a finger? That's right. There's no mystery to it. Just tap, tap. Okay, like this? Did you tap it, or did you, throw your body against it? So, what do you want to search first? I don't know. How do I tell it what I want to know? Just tap here, in this little white bar, and now the keyboard will pop up. These symbols, are they normal? What do you mean? The keyboard should show the alphabet. It's nothing out of the ordinary. Oh no, I think I broke it. What? No way, you haven't done anything wrong. Is my finger bad? Did I touch it wrong? The screen looks normal to me. The Minotaur glares at the screen, trying to make sense of all the symbols. What odd lines they are, but they do awaken a sense of familiarity. His brain itches as it struggles to connect together an ancient mind with more recent knowledge. His ears flick. He hears a racket of metal mechanisms tic-tacking and reeing down at the cramped bedrock. It was coming to him. The name of the machine, a writer, a typewriter. They had been such an issue. The letters themselves had no meaning, no soul behind them. The hotel's translation could do nothing to impose order. During all the millennia, the Minotaur had spoken the language of his people, without care to learn whatever new tongue was the fad at the time. Second, no? Alrighty. Although, to be more precise, for a good few centuries he had devolved into the habit of making new words, so much so that his old Minoan had become quite unlike what he had spoke as a child. But it all changed when typewriters were invented. The letters alone eluded him. He had to learn other languages and alphabets then. Ah, this is a typewriter. The hotel doesn't like them. Huh? Why is that? It only understands meaning in words, not what they are made of. It all breaks down. Oh, is there something I can do then? I could read and type for you. It wouldn't be an issue. He drew a breath. The more he looked at the alphabet, how familiar it was to what the Greeks invented, the less he felt the hooks on his brain. I can remember the letters. The words, too. He tapped the screen. He meant to press the O, but tapped the P instead. An old annoyance. Simpler days returned to his mind when Jean-Marie was still alive and they were drafting contracts down at the bedrock. He never mastered the typewriter, but he was decent enough to use it, slowly. He could conquer it again. I can face this. Alexios continues staring at the Minotaur. Is that a twinge of worry? Then it grows soft. His voice, as soon as it comes out, sounds like velvet. Of course you can. You've kept this hotel running for so long. Memorizing an alphabet won't be hard for you. Excuse me? What did you say? You've kept this place up and running, right? Masters came and went, but you were the constant. You're very competent and hardworking, that's clear to me. Hardworking. The gods had made him strong to carry a load no regular man could. He was a beast of burden. Yes, Asterion could take pride in that. You deal with the guests, manage check-ins and check-outs, repair the bedrooms, even cook if necessary. And last night you went as far as providing entertainment. We've just reopened the hotel and it's already doing so well, in no small part thanks to you. Is memorizing an alphabet a difficult task to someone as quick-witted as you? The hotel is doing well, the Minotaur thought. In any other context, bitter thoughts would pop into his mind. No, the hotel is still a shell of its former self. We're only housing a dozen or two guests. We barely have any staff. When it came to this subject, his mind was unclouded. Yes, the hotel was doing well. Repairing such a big place in less than 2 weeks was nothing short of a miracle. Guests coming around now wouldn't even imagine the place had been left in ruins for 80 years. This was his one good thing. Whatever violence and disgrace the gods saw fit to impose on him came twofold as blessings for his home. He would serve well if it meant the prosperity of his one good thing. I am proud of the hotel. The Minotaur's voice rumbled, followed by a harsh snort and flicker of his ears. As well you should be. Is that in order? Consider it a friend's suggestion and a partner's recommendation. Partner? Partner. What a peculiar word. Asterion glanced to his side. He had to string every command together. He could feel his eyeballs dragging inside their sockets. He drew a breath, then dug his nails in the palms of his hands. Partner. Phronius used to call him that back in Crete, all the way until that night. A white bird flying under the moonlight. The Minotaur aimed his bow and drew the string. It was not too different from plucking his lyre, that last tension before letting go. From Phrenos for that everlasting friend, but first of all for his brother, intrepid Androgeus? Androgeus. He set the arrow loose. Partner. They were hunting together that night, but by the end of it Phrenios called him something else, and that was the last they saw of each other. But at times it felt like this master was Phrenios, or Androgeus' ghosts given flesh. They all had such honeyed tongues. We are business partners, aren't we? We're in this together. Asterion returned from his haze. I am afraid that is not something the hotel or the valley would ever be willing to recognize. My sentence, after all, contracts that stray too far from treating me as a prisoner would be ineffective. What do you mean by that exactly? The Master can command the realm to do his bidding, but there are rules and principles that stand above. If you try to pass a contract or command that disregards them, your order will not become binding. The same way you cannot summon currency, you can't sign an order saying I am your equal. That would be against the Labyrinth's principles. So, I can't be your business partner. As far as the Labyrinth is concerned, that is just not possible. Alexios looks off to the side, lost in thought. Who knows? Maybe I can find a way to circumvent this. I think I'm getting the hang of how this realm works. We could try finding a loophole we can use to achieve the same effect. Perhaps something to the effect of forbidding the Master from harming you. What bold ideas. The Minotaur feels the hummingbirds pricking at the back of his skull. He grits his teeth and Alexios notices. But it would seem we got sidetracked. I was supposed to show you the internet. Yes, sir. So, tap here. We can begin with a few searches. I'm sure there's a lot you want to know about the outside world. Again, the peculiar alphabet popped on the screen. This time, however, it was stringed into stubborn words that didn't bend to the realm's translation. They weren't unfamiliar. Memory sparked. Loose strings tied into knots. The hotel's translation isn't working. That's weird. I can read it just fine. Although I suppose it's because I already speak English. I wouldn't notice anything wrong. Is this an issue? English? No, I can read it. I learned it after we started using typewriters. I can read it. I'll just need a minute to familiarize myself. Yeah, what language have you been speaking so far? My language. What does that mean? 1 second, y'all. Water time. Get off my neck, bug. Alright, guys and gals, and we are back. Let's jump right back into it, shall we? Okay. It's my language. It was Cretan. It used to be, but with time if everything gets translated, I could tinker with it and make it my own. I had a hard time with certain sounds, so I just changed it. Made it however it felt right. So, it used to be Minoan, but it's not anymore. It's my language. My language. Rough, bullish lips bending at odd angles, a tongue too long and thick. During the day, his wet nurse taught him the words, repeating each one 100 times. A prince must speak well, she said. Every other week, his mother would spend a night with him. Her eyes wandered, crawled up the ceiling, and her little limp-wristed hands grasped about a little baby's. She spoke as if her mouth was always full of pebbles. Her syllables would blur together. The vowels stuttered and were washed away by her accent. Father said it was her madness speaking. The wet nurse said she came from a godly place beyond the sea, and that was her accent. That was their accent. Asterion drank every precious moment with his mother, including her slurred song. He could never tell if his accent came from his bestial form or from her influence. But here in the labyrinth he let it go. Took bits and pieces from people over the centuries, stitched together something rough, shoddy, and perfect. I made my own language. I see. I wasn't expecting that. But can you read English just fine? If not, I can help you. Master shouldn't worry. Yes, I'm remembering. Now, what should I do next? We can start by searching for something you want to know. Try typing it. What you're curious about. Yes, sir. To take a glimpse of the outside world, a few things did come to mind. He had thought about them so much during these decades. What do we search? Meet people. Okay. The Master watches, grin spreading on his face as Asterion types the word meet and people. Oh, I see how it is. What is? Are the guests tonight not enough for you? No, it's not that at all. I just got curious about what you had mentioned in the lounge yesterday, Master. How you can use the internet to meet people, like pen pals. The Master chuckles. Yes, but it's not as simple as typing meet people. There's websites for that, and you usually have to make a profile before you can talk to anyone. A profile? Yes, it's usually very basic information about yourself. I don't think I want to disclose that so quickly. Well, setting up an accurate profile would be difficult. I don't think most websites would accept 1000 BC as a valid date of birth. There's websites you can just use anonymously, though, or you could use an alias. That would be preferable, yes. You know, there's people who make profiles pretending to be fictional characters or historical figures for fun. You could make something like that. Why would people pretend to be a fictional character for fun? The Master hesitates before answering. I think we're getting off track. We can deal with this later, alright? Anything else you want to look up? What's that, you know? Alright. My homeland, Crete. I wonder how Crete is doing nowadays. The Palace of Knossos was discovered in the late 1800s and excavated in the early 1900s. So they found it. So little of it is left, but that's it. It's where I grew up. This courtyard. When I was a child, I used to play here with my brother, Androgios. How was it, living back then? It was nice, I suppose. If you're wondering about all this modern comforts, running water, electricity, we didn't have any of that. But we lived well, better than most. I even had a room of my own. I know few children from that time could say the same. I had a bodyguard to keep me safe. We'd stick together always. Although that may not be the best way to put it. He was only some 7 years older than me when he became my, shall we say, guardian. I must have been 4 years old. My time in the palace was quite enjoyable, in no small part thanks to him. His name was Phrenios. But make no mistake, I did have responsibilities. I performed ceremonial duties very often. Phrenios always gave me company, and Androgios would too when his obligations allowed. I wonder what else I can find in this internet. What do we search? Master Jean-Marie's birthplace. There is a place I've been very curious about for quite a while now. Perhaps you have heard of it, the region of Bordeaux? That name rings a bell, yes. Is it a region of France? Yes, I believe it is. Now, what will your internet tell me about it? France's most prominent winemaking region. I suppose Master Jean-Marie was not bragging. His family's wine must have been quite remarkable. It was captured by Germans during World War II. Oh, I suppose that makes sense. But it seems to be doing quite well now. That is a relief. Alright, y'all, I'm actually going to pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank y'all for all you do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silverman. Thank you for going above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you to our gold tier patron, Trezum Guy. You're awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to Ultimate Tier anyway. If y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to all of our not safe for work contents as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!